So you're thinking about moving to Bend, Oregon, or maybe you already live in Bend, but want to live somewhere else in Bend, but it would require you selling your house now and then taking on a new mortgage to get into that new house that you want to live in. Well, that's exactly what we're going to be covering in today's video. We're going to be talking about the golden handcuffs that you're currently wearing with your current mortgage rate and how it applies to the state of the market. So if this video sounds like it's for you, stick around. We're going to be addressing this right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living, eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good and the bad, the state of the market here in Bend, Oregon and surrounding areas, then subscribe to the channel. Tap that notification bell below so you can be the first to know about the current market here in Bend, Oregon. My name's Ryan. I'm a licensed broker with eXp Realty. I've lived in Bend for over 30 years. My business partner, Zach, and we get calls and texts every day from people just like you looking for help on making their smooth move to Bend. And we absolutely love what we do. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, doesn't matter. Give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or even set up a Zoom meeting. We'd be happy to help you make that smooth move to Bend or anywhere else here nearby in Central Oregon. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about the current state of the market as it applies to interest rates. So there's a lot of people out there that would love to move, but they're on the sidelines right now. They can't get out of the situation that they're currently in. Maybe they have a ton of equity in a home that they bought in the not so recent past, because home prices have certainly gone up over the last few years at a historic rate. And if you've been in that market, if you owned a home in the last couple of years, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But maybe now is a situation where you want to get out of that home and move on to somewhere else, or move on to somewhere else in your community. But point is you don't feel like you can because you're locked into that current rate, which is a great rate, mind you. But at the same time, is that where you really want to be? And you're going to put it off until things in the future change? We don't know what's going to happen in the future. If I did, I'd get my crystal ball out here and tell you guys exactly when those rates are going to come back down. What I can tell you and provide for you is give you guys a little bit of data and some perspective on why it may still be a good idea to do that relocating or make that move. Sell your house now for the profit and then put those proceeds into a different home if that's something that you want to do, but you just feel like you got those handcuffs on that are holding you back. So that's what we want to address in today's video. And so we're going to take a look at a few things that may provide some context, hopefully, and we can see where we're at after it's all said and done. Okay, so we've got this article pulled up right here. We're taking a look at it. It's very telling. It's 98% of borrowers have a below market mortgage rate that's keeping housing inventory tight. So we've got the picture here. It's a hand. It's a little toy house with what? Golden handcuffs are stuck between holding the wrist to the house. Okay, what is that telling us? It's most of us who have a mortgage right now, we've got a mortgage rate that's below market and it's holding us hostage. Okay, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe you like the house that you're in right now, so this video wouldn't even apply to you. But there is a certain percentage of you out there that is looking to move, and you're considering whether it's a good idea to move, sell your house for a higher interest rate when you finance that new purchase. Well, the recent history would suggest that, okay, we're used to 3%, we're used to 4%, or maybe even below that. But the odds are, and the chances of that going back to where we were 2 years ago is very, very low. We're at 7% now. And if we were to look at some historical data over the last 30 years, what you're going to see is very interesting information. We are still in a historic low period as it relates to the last 30 years of interest rates. Could you imagine trying to buy a home in 1980 when interest rates were as high as they were, up to 17%? I mean, that was absolutely crazy thinking about that. I wasn't around then, but my parents were, and they told me that a lot of people would have to do in-house financing or owner carry seller financing type things, where they literally had to create their own creative terms to make deals happen. That is absolutely incredible. So if we were to compare it to, say, 1980, where we're at now, we would be at historic lows. But we are so caught up in the moment. We are so stuck on what happened over the last couple years during a certain pandemic when things were so so out of whack. We had no idea what was going to happen. Rates went down to absolute historic lows, 2.78. Can you imagine 2.78? Okay, sticking around for the long haul? No, but if you're there, you're in great shape. And the point is that it's not going to go back to that level. We are up to 7%. That's happened in pretty short order. So it's kind of shocking for people to think about where rates are at right now. But if we really zoomed out, even just over the last 20 years or the last 25 years, what we're going to see is that 7% really isn't that far-fetched compared to where it was most recently. And that's in the early 2000s. We'll go find it right now. High sixes, high fives, okay, it tapers up to about 7% in early 2002, okay? And so that is when the last time we had a 7% interest rate was. Were you in the market in 2002? Did you own a home in 2002? Did you have a mortgage in 2002, okay? So it's not completely out of ordinary and just completely far-fetched for us to be currently in the market looking for mortgages, trying to finance homes with the current rate, with the current market rates. Okay, so that is something that needs to be addressed. But we as a society are so used to what has happened to us lately. Okay, and so this is providing some interesting perspective about where things currently sit in the market. A 7.22% interest rate would get you a $450,000 home in 2023 in the same manner that a 3.35% interest rate would get us a $700,000 home in 2021. Okay, obviously that's just a 2-year difference, and some of us are still feeling the pain of not jumping into the market back in 2021. Maybe we couldn't afford it, maybe we didn't have our financial ducks in a row at the time, and now we're kicking ourselves. But the point is are you going to continue waiting on the sidelines, knowing that certain things like the city of Bend and the Central Oregon area are going to continue to grow at an alarming rate? Housing prices are continuing to go up. We are currently at our second month in a row where we're sitting at all-time high median home prices. And so that's something that I want to provide context for. The question remains, are you going to stay on the sideline and remain there waiting for interest rates to come down because you think someday they're going to come back down to those historic lows, which isn't going to happen, by the way. But if they do come back down to say 6.5% or 6% or 5.5%, that'd be awesome. Would you take advantage of the situation? Because this is the data here that I look at more so than I look at the interest rate. I can always refinance when interest rates do come back down. I can get into a house now, lock in my deal, and make sure that I have a good home, and I can sit on that and allow the appreciation of the house to go up over the course of time, because that's really what real estate is all about. It's buy and wait as opposed to wait and buy. Too many people right now have that recency bias when it comes to the interest rates, where they're thinking, I'm going to wait to buy because interest rates are going to come back down and I'm going to get a good deal. Well, let's take a look at what's happened over the last 36 months in Bend when it comes to real estate prices. Okay, this is absolutely alarming. So June of 2020, we had a median home price of $464,000, and just last month we hit our all-time high, $785,000. That is a 70% increase in value over 36 months. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, would you like to miss out on something like that again as we move forward in Bend over the course of the next 5 to 10 years? Prices are going to keep going up. What's inflation going to do? We're trying to deflate it right now, but the reality is prices are just going to likely keep going up. And we'll talk about why in Bend specifically here in a second. But even if we look at just the last 22 to 24 months, we were sitting at 70% or so gains from June of 2020 over the course of just 2 years. 70% gain on your residential property, and you're worried about, say, the interest rate and the mortgage payment that you're going to get locked in right away. Well, as time goes on, it's going to prove to you that having purchased when you were considering it would have been the correct answer and the correct decision to make. So that's where we're at right now with the current state of things. Bend is an absolutely remarkable place to live. There are people that are moving here constantly all the time. Maybe you have some good equity in a home right now that you could pull out or you could sell, and then you could put a significant down payment down on a home. And then you'd also have a relatively respectable monthly payment based off of the current interest rate. And then as time goes on, you'll be able to refi and get that lower rate that you're seeking. But just keep in mind, you're probably not going to see that 3% or lower again anytime soon. But you will be able to see a little bit lower rate at some point potentially. Okay, the market is correcting upwards right now. It may correct downwards again, but the point is we're probably not going to see something as historically low as we saw in the last couple of years. But why Bend? Okay, Bend again is a top growing city, not just in Oregon, not just in the Western United States, but all over the entire country. Okay, we have to keep that in mind. People are moving to Bend at an absolutely insane rate. Construction in town right now is absurd. It's everywhere. Everywhere I go. I went to the east side of town, a part of town I haven't been to in a while, yesterday for dinner. And there were buildings going up that I didn't even recognize. I didn't even know that they were under construction, had broken ground. So it's just like everywhere in town, the town is going crazy when it comes to construction. We're in the middle of the summer right now, so there's plenty of people, plenty of tourists. The traffic is kind of frustrating sometimes, but again, you're coming from bigger cities. I know most of you are who are watching this. You're coming from Houston, you're coming from Dallas, you're coming from Seattle, you're coming from somewhere in California, you're coming from Salt Lake City. Okay, the point is that your traffic, yes, it's way worse. We get it, we know, but we still going to complain about our traffic sometime because our infrastructure is designed for a smaller town, but we get twice the people in this town during the summer because there's so many tourists here. But point is, not trying to digress, but let's take a look here. Here we go. Bend is still the fastest growing town in Oregon, and that's probably not going to change anytime soon. Maybe Redmond will compete with that a little bit, but we just kind of lump those two together right now. Deschutes County, all one and the same, fastest growing county in the state. And so what does that tell you? There's a demand. The demand is ever increasing. There's always going to be people that are looking to buy and sell real estate in this area, and that's never going to change. There are more people looking to relocate to this area than there are trying to find somewhere else to live and move the heck out of here. Bend is going to grow at a crazy clip over the next 5, 10, 20 years. And so letting a short-term increase and shock value of the current interest rates stop you and deter you from making that purchase right now and moving to Bend or moving somewhere else in Bend could be something that you regret in the future when you look back. I just know, historically speaking, this Beacon report here and the data is just crazy. Like when you look at this, it's like you almost have to just trust the data, and you do, because if you were to go back, say, and just think in your head back to 2020, what was the median home price? I would not think it was 464 or just 464. That's pretty remarkable to me. And then getting up to 785 in just 36 months, or even 773 in 24 months. I mean, it's crazy how fast things are growing. But growing up here in Bend, I remember when a $500,000 house seemed like an outrageous number, and now a $500,000 seems like a bargain. So that's going to remain the same. Nothing is going to change over the long haul when it comes to that sensibility of what a $500,000 will get you, or what $1 million will get you. It's going to keep going up. We're going to look back and just be so thankful that we bought our home in this town at the price that we did, because one thing is true, that purchasing real estate in Bend has typically been a good decision, especially if you're in it for the long haul. So I just want to provide this context today, you guys. I'm so glad you guys are watching. If you're still here with me on the video, please let me know what you think of this in regards to today's videos versus some of the other videos that we have. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. And if it's your time to reach out to us, you're ready to start looking at houses or making a plan for relocating here or just moving somewhere else within Bend, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us that email, set up that Zoom. We want to meet you. We want to talk about your plan so we can put something in motion and we can get the ball rolling. Thanks again for watching. We're so appreciative of you guys supporting the channel. We'll see you around town or maybe on the next video. Have a great day.